testing phase to make sure everything is done. So hopefully everything should be completed. Maybe
February month then.
No, hold on there, Vin. Listen to what I'm saying. Hopefully everything should be completed where you have the testing done, the lights up and everything, and we can have an official ceremony maybe by March there. So because if you're in January and you're expecting the containers, then you have 6 weeks to test before the contractor will hand over the project. Obviously, you can expect somewhere around the region of March. But that doesn't mean that the lights will not be up before March.
I understand.
It will probably not be commissioned maybe before March.
You see, Gavin, because a lot of times and so we come on the radio and we say certain things and the general public do not understand what we're talking about. But it is clear in the that we heard words and so on and before that the project will be completed by January, will be completed before December, and so the lighting and everything will be up. That didn't come through. We understand what happened. But Gavin, the question I want to ask you, who monitors government project and the projects? Who monitors these projects?
Well, I wouldn't know that, Delvin. I'm a reporter at DVS Radio. I'm not an engineer, or I'm not
because you see, that is what I want to find out, and that is the question maybe we should ask in the press conference and so on, because what
I will do though, the next time that I get knowledge that the Prime Minister is having a press conference, I will inform you early enough so you can attend.
Oh yes, I'll be there. Gavin, I'll be there. I'll be there because I do freelance.
I want to say good evening to Clyde John Baptist, the #1 sports photographer on island. He's here with us at the D.F.A Technical Center, and of course the lovely pictures that you're seeing on the Facebook page of the Dominica Football Association. 99% of the time they belong to Clyde John Baptist. That's the #1 sports photographer in Dominica. The other 1% might be me, or might probably be somebody else, but 99% of the time it's Clyde John Baptist with the good work.
Yeah, man, Gavin. So, Gavin, as we were saying, and so on, we're hoping that everything can work out very nicely. But, Gavin, the question I really want to ask, and so on, is that certain times and so on, we see certain things going on, and then after, there's no seems to be anybody monitoring. Because I've been monitoring the stadium and so on, and you know, Gavin, I said, that is my project and so on. I want to say good evening to the Minister, Roberts, and also to Oscar and to the Prime Minister. But, Gavin, who monitors this project, and so they monitor this project, because things seem to be going on, and there's some to be lacking some monitor, or some things are very slow coming, or some things not happening. So what is going on? Who really in charge?
I'm quite sure that the government would have some sort of monitoring team for the various projects. I think that might probably be a unit within the Ministry of Public Works or there. So I'm not in a position to give any more information on that. I'm just using my basic common sense.
Basic common sense.
Right. So
I understand where you're coming from, because you remember what happened and so on in the Windsor Park, and you remember when I called you and called the minister and so on. You remember. I just tell you, I wouldn't want to say it now. But what I'm saying is that you remember what happened when I called you. I don't know kind of controversy and so on, because you know my face is sports in Dominica. I'm concerned about sports. I love sports. And I want to say special good evening to all the sportsmen and sportswomen in Dominica. But Gavin, there's certain things and so on. I think that it take a lot of times things take time. But there's certain things I think that taking too long to come forth, and I think it could be easily be done. Especially, I don't want to be too hard on certain things, but especially that facility recovering and painting of that facility up there and so on, because people.
Yeah, let me just give an update there on the test match, England and Australia. So Australia, they've been bowled out for 371. Of course, earlier on we had Alex Carey got 106. Usman Khawaja got 82.
He wasn't carded to play, Gavin.
He wasn't carded to play, and filled in literally at the last moment for Steve Smith, who fell sick on the morning of the match. So that shows the importance of being ready to be called upon at any time, Delvin. And Usman Khawaja, the professional that he is, 39 years of age, but still, of course, firing for Australia. And we had Mitchell Starc, who got a half century, 54. So that was some lower order resistance there from the Australian team. Valuable runs in the end. 371 is what they were bowled out for. A 5-wicket haul for Jofra Archer, Delvin, 5 for 53. And Bryden Carr, 2 wickets, and Will Jacks also got 2 wickets. So it will be England now to face the music of Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins. Remember, Pat Cummins playing his first test in a while for the Australians. So a very formidable bowling attack for the Australians. Remember, they've been bowling quite well in the series, and then to be able to add Mitchell Starc and Nathan Lyon to your team.
Oh yes, Gavin.
Wow.
Oh yes.
So What do you say? Good position for Australia.
Well, yes, a good position, but I think that match is still wide open, Gavin. England is a team that's very aggressive. You get them out early, you get them out early, but they can stay a day and a half and score 370 something runs for you. The way they type to play the type of
Yes.
cricket. So it's still a game that wide open. So I hopefully that they can come there and score some runs and show a fight in this series, because you see how the keeper came in their career and scored 106.
Mhm.
That is what the West Indies need. A wicketkeeper that can come there and score like a 50, 60 off and on. And that's what, if West Indies can get that in their batting lineup, I think they'll do pretty well.
All right. As you mentioned, the West Indies, I can also give an update on the day one of the third test between the West Indies and New Zealand. And New Zealand, remember, they won the toss. They opted to bat first. Still going pretty well. 83 without loss after 28 overs. And Conway is not out on 42. Tom Latham is unbeaten on 39. So it's been quite well, I wouldn't say a struggle in that they haven't they're leaking runs. They're not leaking runs. It's just a run rate of just under 3, but they have not been able to pick up a wicket. That's the West Indies bowling attack so far.
Yes, Gavin, and that's the problem. And so on. I think the new ball, Seals and Roach did not do justice
Utilize,
to
yes.
that new ball. They were offline. They were all over the place, Gavin. I think that's where they lose the opportunity, because the ball was doing something, but because they were offline and Gavin moving the ball all over the place and not pitching the ball in the right direction and so on. You could hear the commentators were actually crying on that and so on. They're not pitching the ball to let the batsman play more, and the batsman will letting a lot of ball pass. And when you have a new ball of that nature and you're done, you need to let the batsman play as much as you can, Gavin, to try to get the batsman out.
All right. So, like we said, it's the third test match. We're hoping that the West Indies can pull off a miracle, win a test match against New Zealand, first time since 1995. That's going to be a major task for the West Indies. And well, Delvin, while they deal with your situation, if your mic there, I probably just want to ask you this, because the president of Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Shaloo, made a statement recently and basically saying that Darren Sammy's position is not under threat despite what happens in New Zealand. And, you know, from a lot of people will probably take that statement to task and wonder, well, how can a coach who hasn't won a test match in 3 against Australia, 2, that'll be about 6 or 7 test matches for the year, how is his position not under threat? But again, everything has to be put into context, Delvin, and I like to use that word because, yes, it's the West Indies, but sometimes it's not necessarily the West Indies. It might be the West Indies on paper, but the West Indies, for example, for this series against New Zealand, they were dealt a major blow. There's no Sharma Joseph, there's no Alzari Joseph, and they were forced to use some guys making their debuts, the likes of a Johan Lane and a OJ Shields. So then would it be fair now to judge a coach based on the performances when you're not at full strength already? At full strength, it would have been a challenge to beat New Zealand, and then not to be at full strength and still be expected to beat New Zealand. What do you say about that, Delvin?
Gavin, as you know, that West Indies board, there seems to be a boys' club. It's a very good time. I always say that it's a good time board. They're having a fine time, guys. You know, nobody resigning. It doesn't matter when you lose 1,000 matches as a coach. The coach will not resign. I think what the coach should do is resign.
No, but what I'm saying
he
is,
should take on his own and decide.
No,
to do something.
I don't think he should resign, because I think you missed what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that Darren Sammy has not had the liberty or the luxury of having a full strength West Indies team for a while.
Okay, so if you have a full strength team, against who you'll judge him?
Hold on, Devin. Listen to what I'm saying. The last series against India, which we lost 2-0, remember we had Alzari and Sharma Joseph not available. They were not available. Then you come up against New Zealand, they're still not available. These are your 2 premier fast bowlers. So you're already handicapped in the bowling department. Albeit, yes, they were still able to hold their own, but you have to put things, like I said, into context. So it's unfair. I mean, we can say what we want. I think a lot of people probably have a negative bias towards Darren Sammy because of what happened with Alec Athanaze and Kavem Hodge.
No.
Listen, but if we are being fair and objective, if the coach does not have a full strength team, how can we judge him based on the results.
When is this full strength team? Because we played against Australia and we bowled for 27. We had a full
Yes.
We had a full team.
Yes.
And we bowled for 27.
Right.
So you tell me we're against which team you judge me for
Right,
full team?
but also remember that Australia
In the Caribbean.
Yeah, but Australia that's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, but in the Caribbean, they were still play well in the Caribbean, Gavin. To bowl up for 27 is disaster.
Yes, that was an abnormally that probably won't never happen again. Unfortunately for us, because it means that we will hold on to that record maybe forever. But the point that I'm making is these sort of things happen. We've seen mighty India being bowled out for 46 with the likes of Kohli and Sharma and whatever it is.
Yes, these things happen.
So these things can happen.
But 27 is a very low
27
score.
is low, but 27 is not far off from 46. And especially when you have the likes of world-class batters like a Virat Kohli and a Rohit Sharma and Pujara and whatever it is, and you're bowled out for 46. To me, that's the same as being bowled out for 27 with a Shea Hope making his return to Test cricket and a number of young batters. To me, that's the same. Don't you agree with me, Delvin?
Yeah, I understand the question. So what you're saying, Gavin, the Attorney General for tonight, that even Sammy lose that series and then lose the next 2 series, is still be the coach because
not the next 2 series.
No, but remember he get a guarantee. He didn't get a guarantee from Gavin, you know. He get a guarantee there from Charlotte, the president of the Civil, that decided not going to resign because he will. But I don't know what's going on in the Caribbean, Gavin, because those guys, Gavin.
Well, just hold your thought, Delvin, because play is just underway in the second half here at the D.F.A Technical Center. 8:24 it is by my watch. Second half action literally just getting underway a few seconds ago. And it's Buffett State 2. And Mighty Avengers nail a chance now to go 3 up, though, had he been better bit on the control, but it's still a dangerous opportunity. And a shot goes there. It's Montel James, yes, goes wide. It's going to be a goal kick. But Delvin, back to the cricket. I don't think Sammy will need another 2 series. I'm just saying, at least after this New Zealand series, Dr. Charlo is right. You can't really judge him on that. And despite not being at full strength, he still managed a draw, and an important draw in the first test. So it's not like the results are all that bad. Yes, we didn't win, but we have to look at
the second test.
Join the first test. Sorry, you have to look at where we are, our position in world cricket, and whatever it is. I mean, sometimes the expectations might just be a bit too high. We have another attacking play there. He's gone down. And is the referee pointing to the spot?
That look like a penalty, Gavin.
Well, I'm just waiting because he's dealing with the matter. He's issuing a yellow card to Mighty Avengers. So it looks like, no, he's going to give a free kick on the edge of the box again. But this time I think it's a bit too far to the right. So it might be a bit difficult for a direct shot on goal. But we'll see who steps up to take that free kick for Buffett State. But literally, for the second time in the game, a foul committed inches away from the 18-yard line. And from the looks of it, I can see Anthony Frederick, and looks like also Montel James also in the discussions as well. Can Buffett State pull off another piece of magic to go 3-0 up here at the D.F.A Technical Center? 3-man, 4-man wall. Here we go. Went underneath the wall there, and the goalkeeper had to be very good, Delvin, had to hold on to that one.
Very good goal there by Cavande. George there, the goalkeeper for Mighty Avengers.
Yes, so still 2-0 here at the D.F.A Technical Center. And good stuff there from the goalkeeper, trying to keep his team in the run-ins. The Mighty Avengers with some work to do either to get themselves back into the semi-finals. But it's been Buffett State for the entire evening. Maybe the halftime break, the Mighty Avengers might have been able to have some discussions and see if they can sort of pull things back. Carrick Walter was fouled there in the midfield. It's going to be a free kick for Buffett State. Delvin, I want to go back a bit to the under-15 team. I don't think we did them much justice with the good results that they got in Grenada. They were able to win all of their matches. They went through the tournament undefeated. And like we said, they got some 7 Dominicans onto the Windward Islands under 15 team. The captain of the Dominica team, Joshua Joseph, will captain the under 15 team. So that just shows how dominant the Dominica team were in that competition. I'm going to see if I can just quickly.
After this guys, they're under 15 and so on, do so brilliant. So what happened, Gavin, when they move up the ladder? So we don't hear too much about the teams again.
How you mean?
Like after the under 15 and so on, one come for the under 19, we not been performing well at the under 19 level, and it just reaching a situation that it's getting very tough after we doing so well at the under 15 level. Where these players disappear too, Gavin?
Well, Delvin, I'll get back to that in a bit, or I will just say I'll probably go back to the broken record part there. It's Kerrick Walter is played in there. Walter, the defender, able to get a foot onto it. It will go out for a corner kick though. Good link-up play there with Walter, and the player on the far side didn't quite make out who it was there, but good opportunity again for Buffett State. They're continuing to bang on that door, Delvin. It's a corner kick now and a chance to go 3-0 up.
Gavin, Buffett State, I can see that tonight having a fine time tonight, Gavin. And they really enjoying the atmosphere, Gavin. They should have been up maybe 4 or 5. But the goalkeeper for Avengers, that's Kevin George, doing a fine job so far for his team.
In comes the delivery and up go the heads. A headed effort there. Scramble in the box. And danger footed so far for the Avengers. Actually, no, the whistle is gone. To be a free kick for the mighty Avengers. All right, so Devin, going back to the under 15 team. Before I answer your question, just as I mentioned, the guys who have qualified for the Windward Islands under 15. Like we said, we had Joshua Joseph, who will captain the side. There's also Derwin Lewis, who is the son of Vincent Lewis. And Derwin Lewis had a very good tournament. He was the leading run scorer in the competition. We also have Nian Davis, who did quite well. Alex Armstrong, who also did quite well with the bat. Duran Benjamin, who is also related to Gian Benjamin, so following in the footsteps there. He's also made the team. We have Dylan Joseph, Joshua Joseph, like we said, and Dylan John. And Dylan John is a name, Delvin, that's going to be causing some havoc in Dominica's cricket for the next few years if he continues at that pace that he's going on there. A youngster with a tremendous pace, Delvin.
That's Dylan Joseph. Gavin, can you tell the listeners where these players are from? Because it's very important that the general public know where these players are from.
Well, I'm not too sure where everyone is from. I know earlier on, as there's a little scramble again in the box, and just goes wide there. That's another opportunity for Buffett State, Delvin.
Opportunities after opportunities, Gavin. Buffett State having a real fine time tonight, Gavin. I can see there at the technical center. It could have easily been 6 or 7 by now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure where exactly all the players are from. I know in the lead up to the tournament, the sports division did give information as to the schools that they would have gone to. So I know a number of the players on the team would have come from the Castlebridge Secondary School. I think some 6 or 7 players might have come.
I know Lewis is definitely from Penville.
Right. So yeah. But back to the under 15 team. To have 7 Dominicans, Delvin, on a Windward Islands team, that's a major accomplishment.
Oh yes, Gavin, and Gavin, that's very good for the young cricketers in Dominica to have 7 players. Actually, Gavin, they almost had the whole team on the win was set up, so that's very good. And so what Gavin, the type of things we hear is that the other countries that's on the Windward Island countries are the ones that really taking over the cricket. And we just have the leadership side. I don't know if it's true because we have doing pretty well in terms of playing cricket.
Yeah, I think generally it was a good year for Dominica's cricket because when you look at our performances regionally, we managed a 2nd place finish in the senior men's tournament. We managed a 1st place finish in the under 19 tournament, and we won the under 19 tournament for the first time in about 10 years. And look, we've won the under 15 competition as well. So whilst the blemish might be what we saw last week with the 23 and under tournament where we were comprehensively beaten by St. Lucia, generally the Dominica cricket team has had a good year at the senior, under 15 and under 19 levels as well. 2 first place finishes and a 2nd place finish, Delvin.
Well, that's good, Gavin. When you're talking about two first position and the second place, that's very good, Gavin, especially maybe for cricket in Dominica. So we're just hoping that that can continue throughout the new year.
All right. Now, looking at the under 15 team again, you want to give kudos to Trevor Shillingford and the sports division, also to the coaching staff, Ray Kazimi, Thomas Kentish. Mr. Shillingford, alluded to the fact that the Ministry of Sports had made a significant investment into this under 15 team. As a shot there will come in again, an effort into the box. It's gone out for, looks like a goal kick. So Buffett still continuing the pressure. But going back to Trevor Shillingford, Delvin, and basically he's doing what we've been calling for in terms of once you invest in the athletes, you will see the results. An increased investment was made for the under 15 team. We're champions.
What type of investment, Gavin?
Well,
on sports division,
investment in terms of providing the financing for the increased training opportunities and whatnot, making sure that the boys are comfortable and whatnot, stuff along those lines. But what I'm basically saying, Delvin, is once you're able to invest, you will get the results. Now
I agree.
You asked me a question earlier as to what was going on that we're doing well at the under 15 and then later on the players drop off. The answer is very simple. At the under 15 level, you're still at the stage where talent is going to win you those matches. And like I always say, Dominica has been gifted with some of the most talented athletes that we've ever seen. The issue is that talent will just get you so far. You need the investment to help grow that talent and put you in a position to be dominant in your respective field.
Well, I want to say hats off to the young cricketers and the sports coordinator said Trevor Shillingford and son invested and so on. But as you know, Gavin, that is the work of the sports division. They have a number there. All the cricket coaches are in the sports division. So cricket is a sport that's been doing pretty well in terms of the under 15 and under 17 and under 19 level, because they're in charge of under 19 cricket, they're in charge of under 17 cricket, they're in charge of under 15 cricket. The sports division are the one in charge, not the cricket association. The sports division are the one. So, and they have the majority of the coaches. They have all the coaches in the sports division that can help these players. So we expect something good.
Again, it boils down to the investment, because what you have to do now is you have to give the sports division, as there's going to be a free kick for Mighty Avengers. Looks like the Buffett players are not happy, and the referee's also going to his pocket as well. He's issued a yellow card. I suspect it might have been for dissent, for the reaction from the player. But Delvin, I want to go back again. That's where the investment comes in. So you can say kudos to the sports division for seeing the need to invest in the number of coaches and mentors that they've been able to do that. For example, you have the likes of a Tyrone Theophil, who's come from the Windwards level and he's come down and he's now a coach with the sports division.
Yeah, I remember the grassroots. They have also a grassroots program too.
Right. I remember they had other players who were given a sort of mentorship role attached to various schools a few years ago.
No, but these guys, they actually now, I think, working together with this sports division, like Farrell Truefield and Kentish and Kevin James and the rest of the guys and so on. They are cricket coaches.
Right.
So they're working in the sports division, so the role is much easier for them.
But that what I'm saying is all of that is part of the investment. The investment doesn't necessarily have to just solely be on the players, but also in terms of providing the players with the necessary coaching staff and mentors that they will need. So, for example, a youngster coming through would have grown up listening to or hearing the name Tyrone Theophil as a former Windward Islands captain. To have him as a mentor or as a coach, that alone is a big difference.
Oh yes, Gabby.
All right, so like we said, kudos to the sports division on what they were able to do there in terms of getting the coaching or improving on the coaching and providing the coaching opportunities. There's a coaching caravan I know that goes around, not just for football, cricket as well, but netball as well. Although we haven't quite seen the results that we would want for netball. But
I don't want to cut you, but I realize there's an under 16 training or some tournament coming up for under 16 girls and so on. I think they usually have that Anguilla and those type of teams. Yeah. Are they still having that?
Yeah,
training today.
I think it's the Jean Pierre tournament that's like coming up. I saw last week the sports division called up about over 40 girls for training.
Yeah, I saw girls training today.
It's an under 16 competition, so And the sports division, they've also invested a lot in netball as
A
well.
lot.
Sometimes we don't always get the results. Sometimes we get the results that we want. But again, you have to continue investing and you just have to put in the hard work. So they're training. Free kick opportunity for Mighty Avengers. Goalkeeper makes a fumble. But the defense covers nicely. Puts in some pressure there. That attempt from Mighty Avengers should have gone in on the rebound. But I think the defender did quite enough to just put him off a bit. It's going to be a goal kick.
Well, blunder by the goalkeeper, Gavin. The ball cut out the goalkeeper gloves, Gavin, and Avengers almost pulling one back there.
So live here at the D.F.A Technical Center. Of course, into the second half of this encounter, semi-finals. Tomorrow we will have the other semi-finals. It's going to be Fonkole FC, and they will be up against South City. That game will be 7 o'clock at the D.F.A Technical Center. Then we're going to have the grand finals of this competition on Sunday. And Saturday we're going to see the finals of the under 15 competition, which will be Point Michel FC and We United FC. The defending champions, Point Michel, up against We United. I think We United are undefeated in this competition. So that should be a firecracker of a match for the finals on Saturday.
Yes, Gavin, and a lot of football, Gavin, as the PRO said, a lot of football, and football will finish in the next 2 weeks, he said in January. So the big prize giving ceremony is supposed to be in the middle of January month, and Gavin, because we only know that only one association, Gavin, so far have the prize giving already for the year.
Yeah,
that's the Athletics Association. I didn't hear anything about volleyball having a prize giving.
Not
volleyball.
Yet. Not yet.
Gavin, and it's almost the 25th of December.
So free kick opportunity. Goalkeeper again with a big save, Delvin. George is really trying his best to keep the Mighty Avengers in. That was a good effort there from Anthony Frederick. Had the goalkeeper scrambling to his left and came up with a big save. But he's gone out for a corner kick.
Cavandi George there doing a fine job for the Avengers team, because they could have easily been down 6 or 7 by now.
Corner kick aiming towards the back post. First header won by Mighty Avengers. They're trying to clear the lines and struggling just a bit. Is the referee going to signal a foul? No. Play on, and here comes Mighty Avengers now on the attack. Looking for the options, not many. Trying to find the one. He's nudging the back, and the referee says no. He makes a dive there. The goalkeeper with the save, with all of the confusion going on there. The Mighty Avengers appealing for a penalty. They played on, and the goalkeeper had to make a save again. That's the Bafesit goalkeeper sashing. And now it's Bafesit looking to see if they can quickly counter. I think he might have just been held back there. It's gone down. Goal kick, says the referee, or the assistant referee, I should say.
And the player there crying, Gavin, for penalty. Very close score, I can tell you.
Yeah, clearly I saw a nudge, but as to whether it was enough, I mean, sort of a gray area sometimes where if it's outside the box, the referee might probably be more reluctant or more willing to give that foul. But I always have a problem with that. If it's a foul outside of the box and it happens inside of the box, it should be the same foul.
Definitely, Gavin. But you see, Gavin, and there's no referral, Gavin, that the referee could just go on his stand and look at it and so on, like those big matches, and say, well, look, that's a penalty, Gavin.
Yes. And maybe that's something, of course, maybe the D.F.A can work on in the coming years, to have this sort of technology.
Yeah, the monitor.
Monitor available where we can maybe look at, maybe not the offside decisions, because it'll, take some real investments to do that, but something maybe like the fouls,
the penalties in the
penalties and close decisions like that. Maybe we can have the technology to look at that. But here we go, back on the field as Mighty Avengers, just trying to see if they can at least just pull one goal back. I think Delvin would have set some targets as they look to get themselves back into the game. Yes, they're down 2-0, but I'm quite sure that they would realize 2 goals will be enough to at least force some extra time. And also see if they can, just put some pressure on the Buffalo State team. So it's a 20, or that should be 18 minutes to 9 o'clock. Remember, a little after, or I should say at the conclusion of this game, we'll have a Soul Express with the man Mervyn D. I know he's going to be standing by to come on as soon as this game is done. Good shield off there. No, but the referee said that Montel James committed a foul trying to shield off the player. So it'll be a free kick for the Mighty Avengers in midfield. I want to say good evening to Trevor Shillingford, the sports coordinator, always locked in to Off the Field. Even good evening to the minister himself, Oscar George, Senator Oscar George. Tells me, I had a discussion with him on Friday. Says he listens to us all the time, Delvin. He says he says he loves the show. He loves the interaction. Sometimes I'm agreeing with you, sometimes I'm not agreeing with you, and he says he likes that. So good evening to you, Mr. George, wherever you are listening right now.
And he said the sports coordinator, he always tune in, Gavin, the sports coordinator, because he needs to know exactly what has been said and so on, so he can follow up and maybe give you a little text off and on to tell you, well, something and so on. So I just like telling you, thanks for congratulating him and the sports division, Gavin. But that's a normal thing and so on in society.
Yeah, but Devin, when you have to give Jack his jacket.
Oh yes, Gavin.
And when it's good, you have to say it's good.
Yeah, so that is why when it's bad, they have to know it's exactly it's bad, and they're not doing well, so they have to bulk up to do well.
Right, and so they have to know that when things are bad, and Gavin and Delvin might say things are bad, we're not saying that really it's bad. No, we're not saying that it's bad to put anyone in bad light. We're saying that it's bad and we need to fix things.
Definitely.
Right. And that's why I think things should go in the country. People should be able to take constructive criticism.
Oh yes, Gavin.
Yeah.
Because they tend to believe that when you criticize them and so on is that, but you have to understand is that, Gavin, when you know you can do better, and when we know we can do better as a nation, or as a football association, as something that we have to put our act together to get it done. We can't just continue to decide, look, it's not going that way and so on, let's continue to go down and down and down, Gavin.
All right, Devin, a quick basketball update. We saw the opening of the basketball tournament in Marigot, the Neville Pierre Moose Invitational in Marigot on the weekend. That's a big tournament which is attracting teams from across Dominica. We saw a chance there, goes again, good stuff. Did the goalkeeper get a touch? No. Actually, I thought he might have just gotten a hand onto it. See Buffalo State making some changes. Also, the Mighty Avengers making some changes as well.
Well, Gavin, I can tell you that the game with Chris Wicks coming in now for the Avengers, I think that game going to change. And Buffalo State will have to be very careful.
Well, Coach Kareem Davis rolling the dice because he needs to make some changes. It hasn't been, like we said, the best of starts for him. But Buffalo State making a change. Looks like it's Giovanni George that might be coming off. I can also see Elijah Tula making his way off as well. It was actually Elijah Tula. Who's coming off? It's George. George is coming off for Buffalo State. So we have a little bit of a break in play while the substitutions are going on.
And Elijah Tula there have been playing football for quite a number of years now, Gavin. Tula holding his own.
Yes, Elijah started off as a goalkeeper. I remember in his youthful days, represented the senior team, I think, as a goalkeeper. If not, no, it was an under-20 team, was it? Yeah, but anyway, started off as a goalkeeper. He's found himself now as a fullback and really doing what he has to do. But just to go back a bit to the Neville Pierre Moose basketball. No, sorry, Neville Moose Pierre. I have to say it correctly. The Neville Moose Pierre basketball tournament. And you have teams like the Dr. Daru Pichler Sports Club Falcons.
All the way to Marigot.
All the way from Pichler, they're traversing to Marigot. The Detroit Blazers, the Payroot Eagles. And of course, I believe there's a team from Marigot as well.
Warriors on?
I'm not sure if it's the Warriors, but
because there's a team from Marigot, it's called Warriors, Gavin. Yes. It was a very impressive team.
But we saw the first round of matches last weekend. We saw the Eagles beating the Blazers in that encounter, 70-61. So the reigning D.A.B.A Premier League champions, the Eagles, getting the better of the Blazers team in that opening round of matches. The matches will continue this weekend. Delvin, let's see if I can just quickly give you the fixtures We'll see the BA Sharks taking on the Warriors. So you're right. We have the Warriors
That's
from
what I'm talking
Marigot.
about, Gavin. Gavin, you have to understand. I know those teams, Gavin,
Yes.
and I've been out in the odd district.
So we have the Warriors and the BA Sharks. That's on Sunday at 7, and then that game will be followed by 767 All Stars and the Marigot Sunrise team. So looks like we might be having two teams from the Marigot and environs.
Gavin, where is this match has been played?
Being played at the Marigot Wares Hard Court.
Marigot Rails had court.
Yes.
And this, you're talking about these teams, they are Premier League teams.
Premier League teams.
So
yes.
that means they could have left Massac and find themselves in the odd districts. That's the same thing we have been talking
Yes,
about. Throughout
yes,
this. So
yes.
they could not play in the National League in Marigot or neither in Pebbles, but they can play in the off-season up there in those areas. There. But the same teams in the Premier League can find themselves in those areas.
Well, remember also it's a Marigot tournament. So if
That's what I'm saying.
So if they want to play, they'll have to find themselves up there. But I get the point that you're trying to make, that the games should have been decentralized in the last DABA league. So I get the point that you're trying to make. And as we're speaking of the DABA, we'll get back to that. Good defensive tackle there from Philip, yes. Good stop there for Baffin State. Gone out for a throw-in for the Mighty Avengers. Speaking of the DABA, Delvin, the Women's League, the Paxson Bank Women's League, that's scheduled to continue tonight. We're supposed to have one game at the Massac Indoor Facility. From the looks of it, I think it's, the D.F.A Wings was scheduled to face the Washway Washers. That game was scheduled for 8 o'clock tonight. Of course, we'll have to do some homework to find out if that game took place or is taking place, because it's just a little after 8 or a few minutes to 9. What am I saying? It's a few minutes to 9. Oh, wow.
So, Gavin, what we'll have to do, Gavin, is to find ourselves in Marigot and so on, just to witness the encounter, because the atmosphere, Gavin, that's been very lovely. And so I can tell you last week Saturday they had a tree lighting in Marigot, and the amount of people I saw there, Gavin, it was amazing to me in Marigot on Saturday night. So it is good to see that maybe two of us just drive up to Marigot on Saturday or Sunday to witness the encounter.
Well, not this weekend, but you don't
Sure.
you don't have to tell me about Marigot, because I had the opportunity of experiencing a volleyball match in Marigot, and that was R&D and Sunrise. And man, I can tell you that the energy that was up there. I mean, the Marigot people take their, especially volleyball, they take
and
their
basketball.
volleyball serious. So I had that opportunity to go up there and witness that game. This weekend might be a bit tight with the finals on Sunday with the President's Cup. But hopefully after the Christmas, man, definitely we can make an appearance down there. I'm sure the PAL rep for Marigot will be quite happy if DBS Radio comes down. That's Anthony Charles.
Anthony Charles, my boy.
Quite happy. Maybe he can organize with one or two of the sponsors and see how we can make something happen.
A broadcast or something.
Yeah, one of the games down there. And I know Anthony Charles, Honorable Anthony Charles, is listening as well. So good evening to you, Mr. Charles.
And also his wife. And so I want to say special good evening to his wife.
Yeah, so we have a little stoppage in play as there was a bit of an injury. The referee was dealing, well, not the referee, medics were dealing with it.
And Gavin, if you realize, Gavin, that we have listeners all over, Gavin, and that's the beauty. I want to say good evening to some. I know two guys listening in the Concord area. I also want to say good evening to Cornelius and the guys and son down in the valley and in the Lion Park area. I want to say special good evening to them.
Special good evening to all of the usual listeners. Rosamond McGlaw is docked in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And Clement Carty. I know Clement has his television on the cricket and he has his radio on listening to us on off the field. That's how dedicated he is to the program. Good evening to you, C2 Juices. So 2-0 here at the D.F.A Technical Center in favor of Baffin State. And we saw two first half goals from Eustace Phillip and Montel James. Montel James had that brilliant free kick which really caught the Mighty Avengers slipping, literally caught them slipping. And Eustace Phillip capitalizing on a hustle effort, able to win a second ball and was able to put one past the goalkeeper. Since then it's been more or less advantage Baffin State. The goalkeeper George has done quite well for them. Delvin Baffin State clearly could have been up at least 3 or 4 or 5 at this point. But the goalkeeper has done quite well for the Buffett State, for the Avengers team.
And you can hear the crowd.
Well, the Buffett State team not too happy with a decision by the referee. Felt that there was a foul, an infringement on Buffett State, but went the other way. These sort of things happen, Delvin. You know, is referee might see things one way, players might see things another way, the fans might see things the other way.
You're quite right, Gavin. But Gavin, I think one of the improvements that the football association is at least much more referees for next year, Gavin. And we need to get a couple of referees to do some FIFA referees, because we had about 9 or 10. No, we haven't got not one, Gavin. We need to get back. We need to get some good referees in the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Let me even find out from Abby. Is Clyde Cadet still a FIFA official, Abby? Yes. So we have one. We have one, Delvin.
Okay, Clyde Cadet.
Yeah,
he came back. Okay, good.
Yeah, good evening to Clyde.
Yeah, but we need much more, Gavin, because you're talking about when we used to have about a 6 or 7 or 8 guys, and now only down to 1 in 2025, Gavin. That's not good enough, Gavin.
I think there's some factors affecting that or contributing to that, I should say, and maybe it's a discussion that maybe the D.F.A can have with some of the clubs, because you look around at some of the clubs and there's some players who are playing who really should be looking to officiate. I think like they'll probably be better off as officials. referees.
Because playing.
Yeah, because I think some of them have gone past their prime, some of them have gone past meaningful contributions to the team, if you understand what I'm saying.
You're quite right on that,
and they should look to phase themselves out, get into coaching, get into the other aspects of the game. For example, you look at the Buffett State team, and you look at a Coulson Benjamin, for example. Coulson Benjamin
could easily be a referee.
But he's gone into coaching. And what I'm saying is Coulson Benjamin, if I say the name Coulson Benjamin, I don't think there's a single Dominican who's unaware as to what Coulson Benjamin can bring to a football team. But he took a decision at some point to say, well, enough is enough. You know, I've made my contribution as a player. It's time to move on and give my contributions in some other field. But I feel that there's some players who are holding on for too long. And sometimes at the expense of younger players who might be needing these sort of opportunities, if you understand what I'm saying, David.
You're quite right about that, Gavin.
So what you can find happening now is, you know, the D.F.A maybe that can come through a retreat or something. You bring your stakeholders together and you outline some of your plans, what you would like to see.
Reshuffle things, Gavin.
You let some teams know, hey, and maybe you might be able to identify 1 or 2 players and say, hey, let us try to encourage Tom to move away from active duty and take a role in coaching or take a role in officiating or something like that. You understand? But that will only fix the problem in terms of locally. For the international aspect of it, you will need the referees at a younger age. So there's still a drive. Maybe you might have to probably target the state college or so. Maybe that might be a bit too young. But you know, some younger players or younger people, I should say, would have to be targeted for that aspect.
Yeah, but Gavin, we're not getting none at all. The point is that we just not getting none at all, you know, Gavin. That's the most difficult thing. And then if we get 1, 2, that they're not showing the level of commitment and interest.
I wouldn't say we're not getting young. For example, there's a Vernon Joseph from Dubla who's I think he's done some training at the FIFA level, and I think he's also done some international stints as well. Not senior, but some junior games as well. There's a young lady as well, Jessica Perry, who's involved in it as well. So there are some people coming through. Maybe not the numbers that we would want to see, but I wouldn't say that there's nothing.
You're talking about
on.
a handful. I'm talking about a handful, Gavin. I'm talking about the type of amount of football that play now. Mm-hmm. You really need a lot more officials because
definitely.
You're talking about
I agree with you.
You're talking about 2 or 3 officials doing a Premier League match with 2 rounds of football plus first division. That's not good enough, Gavin.
I agree with you there. I mean, obviously there's a need for more officials, and I'm not too sure as to what Carl John Baptist and Neron Williams will be able to do in terms of recruitment. I mean, I gave a few suggestions. Maybe target the state college. maybe you can target some of the clubs, have discussions with the clubs, try to identify, some take for example, Matthew Walsh, who's probably our top referee. But I'll get back to that point in a bit because Buffett City is on attack. Okay, that attack has broken down. Take for example Matthew Walsh. Matthew Walsh has represented Dominica already at senior level, but took a decision to fall back into officiating. Maybe he decided that he would have a better career as an official as opposed to a player. So what I'm saying is that there are a number of players on various teams in this sort of similar situation. And it's just for a discussion to be had to say, hey, if you were to take up the position of referee, let me tell you how much or what sort of opportunities you might have at your disposal. The money that you get to referee a FIFA match is top dollar. There's
US dollars.
Right, US dollars. And it's not little US dollars.
No, not at all, Gavin.
Right?
They're getting well paid.
They're getting well paid. So there are opportunities for you. And to be fair, the referees are paid more than the players.
And Gavin, not only that, but the thing is that, Gavin, before, as I used to say that, we had about 9 and 10 of those of FIFA officials, Caroline, or you could name them. But now we only down to one. So
yeah,
there must be something wrong somewhere, Gavin.
Well, throwing on the far end, you're saying something is wrong. I'm saying maybe it's just a case of not enough was done when we had referees in their heyday to attract the next generation of officials. Maybe it could be that. So for example, let's take the Buffett State team for example. You look at a Carrick Walter. Yes, he still has a lot to offer on the field, but he's at the age now where he has to. How many more years can he give you at that sort of? I mean, is he Premier Level 1 first of all? But
well, he's back in the Premier League next year,
right?
So.
But he's a player, for example, that you can look at. He would have immense knowledge of the game, a veteran of the game, and you look to transition him. Kenrick, can you look to take up a coaching role? Can you look to take up an officiating role? And there are a number of players on other teams that you can, sort of have that sort of discussion with.
You're quite right on that, Gavin, but it's to really get them and so on. So that means to say that the Football Association, the Referees Association have to go on a drive to see how they can recruit and get guys to referee and to do games.
It's just like basketball, for example, and I can use myself as an example. I've reached the age where I feel that I cannot contribute on a consistent basis to a team. So my contribution now would be in officiating. So I would step aside from the actual league and assist with the officiating of the league. And that's what I think, the D.F.A has to try to do to get more officials involved. All right, so what's the time? It's 9 o'clock on the dot in Dominica and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Mervyn D, if you're listening, back in Studio 1, we should be off here in a few minutes. As about 3 minutes, I'm being told. Possibly 3 minutes and stoppage time to go. So we will have the conclusion of the game, and then we'll see if we can get some post-match reaction from the coaches or captains for the team. But as we speak to you, it's Buffett State 2 and the Do-It Center Mighty Avengers 0. And Buffett State, they're in possession. Is it a throw-in or is it a corner kick? I think it's shaping up to be a corner kick.
Gavin, I'm here in maybe about 9 minutes.
Oh, 9 minutes. Okay. So Mervyn D, if you're listening, we're going to humbly request another 9 minutes so we can bring the conclusion of this game. Goalkeeper again had to parry that one away. George again called into action, Delvin. And that ball ricocheted, but fortunately for the Buffett State team, it was back to a Buffett State player. Trying they want to link up, and the 2 players down. Referee's going to give a free kick to the foul on Montel James, I believe. We had Anthony Frederick also taking a tumble as well, but his referee's going to pull it back for the first foul on Montel James. So Actually, no, he's going to pull it for the foul on Anthony Frederick. But clearly, Delvin, there were 2 fouls on that play.
Yes, Gavin and the referee in full control. So Baffa State with another free kick just outside the 18-yard box, Gavin. And
looks like a good distance out though, so most likely it might be a ball into the box. But given the context of the match, I think maybe might be better off just knocking the ball around, Delvin, rather than trying to go on the offensive and then you get caught on the counter.
Well, that's true, Gavin, but they're up 2-0 and they're very comfortable with their 2-0 Baffa State. And they cannot make it free.
Yeah, but 2-0 is nice now, but 2-1 can be a very tricky score as we look into the final stages. It's going into the box. And it goes, yes, it goes in. So going against my advice, and it pays off for Baffa State. Looks like it's Eustace Marshall, is it?
Yes, Eustace Marshall finding the back of the nets there, running in from the back, a curving ball across. And Marshall there, the goalkeeper making a good save, but in the end there, the ball coming back off Marshall and going into the goal. So 3-0 in favor of Baffa State. And Baffa State, I can say now tonight, is clearly through to the finals of the President Cup. So another finals for Baffa State.
Yeah, Baffa State making amends for that defeat in the Division 1 finals when they were beaten by the Mighty Avengers, and the Mighty Avengers forced them to go back to the drawing board. And Baffa State, to get into the Premier League, they had to play the playoff match against East Central, and which they won
quite easily.
Quite easily in the end. But
4-1, Gavin.
Yes, but I think the coach for Baffa State, Michael Joseph, will be a happy man this evening. 1, he's gotten the bragging rights, and 2, he's into the finals. Want to say good evening to Joseph Fadul, DJ Halo Boy on the production as well. Here with us at the D.F.A Technical Center. Also Kyle and Dean, making sure that everything is nice and crisp on the Facebook and YouTube page, and we're sounding crystal clear on the radio waves, or the airwaves, I should say.
And Gavin, really the game really going down to a really easy conclusion that Baffa State will be in the finals on Sunday, and their opponents will be either South City or Funkole. And I know the players from Funkole, if they are listening, I know Funkole have other ideas, and Funkole will be looking to book a spot tomorrow night. So that match tomorrow night will be a very tough match tomorrow night there at the Technical Center from 7 o'clock.
All right, let's see if I can give a quick update on proceedings with the cricket, Delvin, before we say goodbye. And I can tell you that that opening stand has gone past 100 with that test match between the West Indies, third test, West Indies and New Zealand, is now 118 without loss, as New Zealand are making the runs flow. Conway is not out on 67, Latham unbeaten on 48. And they're 118 without loss after 33 overs, is it? It looks like run rate has gone just about 3. So New Zealand sort of finding the ways things a little bit easier in terms of scoring. The pitch report, Delvin, before indicated that the batting would have been a bit challenging in the first maybe session, possibly 2. And then they were expecting things to flatten out. And then you would have expected a little bit of a deterioration towards day 4 or 5. And batting would have then, started to get a little bit difficult. That's if the game goes into the 4th and 5th day, the way modern cricket is being played these days, Delvin.
And Gavin, you can see Baffa State, a happy team is Baffa State.
So 3-0 up. The Baffa State team were making their return to the Premier League. Another ball into the area there. The goalkeeper not bothered by it. And you can see that despite being 3-0 up, the Baffa State team, they're still with that high press looking for more goals, looking to really punish the mighty Avengers. Meantime, delving in the other test match, the Ashes, England and Australia. England, they've already lost a wicket. It's 41-1. Remember, Australia made a 371.
Who is the batsman, Gavin? Crawley or
yeah, the batter out is Zach Crawley for 9. And he was caught by the wicketkeeper of the bowling of Cummins. So most likely must have edged one behind. Of course, we don't have the liberty of the television in front of us. You can just only look at the scorecard. So I'm assuming that it must probably an edge or something of the likes. So Pat Cummins with a wicket on his return to the team. And Nathan Lyon currently has the ball already, Delvin.
Imagine that very early, Gavin. Nathan Lyon bowling already?
Bowling already, although I suspect maybe it might be close to lunch, is it? Probably just have to maybe take a look at it there. Maybe it might be the over before lunch, or is it over?
Yeah, just before lunch, Gavin. Not lunch, just before lunch.
Yeah. So maybe that could be the reason why. Again, we're not to the benefit of the. And matter of fact, Lyon has gotten a wicket. Has gotten a wicket for his third ball. So early Pope is gone. And just like that, the scores are 41-2. So England really crumbling here on day 2 of the third Ashes Test. It's one played back, a bit of a shove there. The referee hasn't called it. As a matter of fact, he's signaling a corner kick. And that was a clear shove there on the player, Delvin, who shoved the defender straight into the back or straight into the goalkeeper. And the referee missed it.
Yes, Gavin, and ball goes. And a yellow card then been issued to a player there, I think. Yes, a yellow card has been issued to a Bafokeng player. But Gavin, before we leave here tonight, Gavin, what do you think of sports for the year in Dominica? Or generally, you summarize sports for the year in 2025?
I think it was a year of mixed results. I mean, we saw some success in some sports. We saw some poor performances in some. As I think I can elaborate a bit because we have the injury. The goalkeeper for Bafokeng is down after that collision with his player. But take, for example, volleyball. A good year for volleyball. Second place finish in the men's competition. Winning the under-23. Also, the team of Mervyn Mingo and Bill Frederick beach volleyball did quite well as well. So a good year for volleyball. We saw a good year for cricket, like we said earlier on, with Dominica winning the under-19, winning the under-15, placing second in the senior men's competition. Then we saw athletics with another good year. Trennis Hamilton, for example, winning first ever medal for Dominica at the Pan Am Junior Games. We saw Theala for Godson winning, or not winning, but placing second in the World Championships. Addison James, another gold medal at Carifta. So that was some good achievements there. Basketball, well, it would be not national because we don't really have a national basketball team, but the Peruche Eagles, for example, after since 2007, their first national championship. We saw the BA Sharks making it to the finals. Football-wise, we saw Jubla continuing to dominate 3 championships in a row. So there were some good talking points for sports in Dominica this year, David.
Oh, well, Gavin, as you said it there, a roundup and so in terms of some good sporting things. So I want to say congratulations to the Dominica Amateur Volleyball Association. Volleyball did pretty well. Also the Cricket Association. Gavin, there's some sports, Gavin, I think that maybe need some improvement there, and they need to work on it immediately, Gavin. And what you said that if anything has to happen next year, because I remember you making a statement saying about if certain things do not happen, that our sports will come down.
Yes.
Down the drain, Gavin. Are you seeing that?
I'm sticking to that because you're already seeing it at the junior levels. Remember, you asked me why does the under-15 team do well, and then it breaks down as you continue to climb up. And I said talent gets you so far. Looking around, I remember recently there was an under-15 tournament for football, and we saw the British Virgin Islands beating Dominica in that competition, an under-15 tournament. That was a few years ago. you'll never have heard of something like that. But again,
no, Gavin, that should never happen.
It should. I wouldn't say it shouldn't happen, but it happens because of the programs the BVI would have implemented to catch up. So you have to always remember that talent will get you so far, but investment gets you further. All right, and like we saw with the St. Lucian team, that was a wake-up call when the St. Lucians were here last week for that 23 and under competition. The investment that they've put in, they're reaping the rewards. Ball forward, and for a moment there I thought he might have had enough to break away. No, he didn't. It's going to be a throw-in for B.A State.
Well, Gavin, we just wish everything the best for sports in 2026, Gavin. As you know, there's major things that need to be done, especially in the football, the facilities and so on, especially the cricket, because as you know, they were supposed to host some matches in the women. I think the women, the tour of Sri Lanka and so on, women, some in March. So hopefully that the Windsor Park will be ready for that time, Gavin.
Well,
and everything will be in place.
From what I've heard is these games have been moved to
St. Lucia.
To Grenada.
Grenada.
Dominica is more in line for games against Australia. Women's games against Australia sometime in March, April. So the games against Sri Lanka were somewhere in January, February. I don't think that things will be ready for then. And a matter of fact, it hasn't been made public yet, but the investigations that I've done shows that the games have been moved to Grenada.
That's what I heard, Gavin. And Gavin, you know the amount of games they have missed out from, let's say, 2022 going up to 2025, 26, a lot in terms of matches that we could have hosted and gone otherwise. But as you know that, we're hoping that everything can get on stream very early in January in terms of the most important thing, the lighting at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, and then we're set to go.
All right, so another time there as time is really running out for the Mighty Avengers. Devin, I think what we can start to do is make our way downfield, so we will be in a position for the interviews at the conclusion of the match, because it looks like we're nearing the end here at the D.F.A Technical Center. So just be careful as you're heading down the steps. It's a little bit wet, Delvin, a little bit slippery. We're heading down the broadcast area here at the D.F.A Technical Center, but you can see some of the fans already starting to make their way. Looks like they are Do It Center supporters. Not too happy with the results, but it will be B.A State, the winners here tonight, as they look to get into, well, not look to get, as they've secured the spot in the finals for the President's Cup. So the finals will take place on Sunday. B.A State, of course, they're just awaiting the winner of tomorrow's other semi-final match. That's between the South City team and Fonkole FC. That game, of course, is set for the D.F.A Technical Center tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. So any moment from now, we should have the final whistle here. Just get some final words from Ebby Lawrence.
Well, Gavin, thank you for having off the field here tonight. We continue to advocate for good football. Tomorrow we will see again South City coming up against Fonkole. We will have the under 15 finals come Saturday, and on Sunday we will have B.A State coming up against, be it Fonkole and or South City. But on Saturday we will see the finals of the U15. So we say thank you for being part of what is happening, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2026.
Yes, Abby, all the best, and all, of course, thank you very much, and all the best, same to you as well. So just awaiting the final whistle there. I think the fourth official, Matthew Walsh, probably can confirm how much stoppage time we're into. No, he can't. But he's pointing to his watch and he's saying that the whistle, 7 minutes to go or 7 minutes stoppage time? Oh, 7 minutes stoppage time has passed. Well, that's the final whistle there. So we had extended a stoppage time period, but that's the conclusion of the match. And at the end of the day, it's the B.A State team. They're winning 3-0 here at the D.F.A Technical Center. Goals from Eustace Phillip. We also had goals from Montel James and also Eustace Marshall. Very quickly, we can get some reaction. We can get some reaction from the head coach. Let's bring over here Michael Joseph, head coach of the Buffett State team. And Big Joe, convincing win for your guys tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin. I think the result we wanted, we got it. It's always going to be a tough game, but we take the 3-0 win.
You said it was going to be a tough game, but you guys look to be in full control tonight.
Well, the guys, the mentality was very, very different. I mean, we played them previously twice, and then the finals, we played like 75 minutes with 10 players, Gavin. So I think from the finals, the guys saw that even if a man down, we were able to compete, and we missed our chances in the finals. But the guys came out tonight and they did what they had to do, so on to the finals for us.
Montel James got that first goal for you tonight, but Montel James has really been quite the revelation for Buffett State, especially in this Division 1 competition. A quick one on Montel James, man.
Montel is an exceptional player, you know. So he's doing what we expect from him. We did not have Montel for most of the round robin, the group stage. Sorry, most of the group stage. But then he came towards the end. I think the last 2 games, and he has been consistent in getting on the score sheet.
What do you take from tonight's showing as you look forward to the finals on Sunday?
I think tonight the team showed a lot of togetherness, unity. They played as a team. We had the veteran Kelrick in the center of midfield, Marshall in the troops, and I think it was a good team effort, and that is a very good sign going into the finals on Sunday.
All right, thank you very much, Big Joe, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you, Cap.
All right, Michael Joseph, let's head over to the Mighty Avengers bench and get a quick chat there with Kareem Regis, head coach of the Mighty Avengers team. And Kareem, well, bragging rights have gone to Buffett State tonight.
Yeah, Buffett State really came out and showed that they are a top team. Yeah, in the previous games we did draw that first game and then we did win that game in the finals. But tonight they really had a little more to play for than us. And I mean, no excuses being made. A little poor effort from my team. What that just shows me is that our preparation is very key. If we're gonna perform well and we're gonna perform how we able to perform in the Premier, we need to have that proper preparation. You know, due to some factors, our preparation wasn't the best, and that has shown tonight in the results of the game. But kudos to Buffett State. They really wanted it. They really wanted to make that statement to show that they were there because they are a bigger team than us, by right. Historically, they're a bigger team, and you know, to go winless against us for the season would have been a stain on them, and they would have been able to carry that momentum moving into the Premier season. So it's a good lesson for us as well. I mean, we've lost about 5 games in the past 6 years. And I mean, sometimes you forget how to lose, and that's a humbling experience. And now when you get those losses, you're able to then recuperate and look at what's going on. But I mean, kudos to my guys. One of the things I told them is that we can lose the game, but we can't give up on each other. And if we don't give up on each other, we'll get the points and we'll get those results come Premier in March.
All right, so some work to do as you head to the Premier for March.
Yeah, just some work to do. Just again, the preparation has to be done properly. I mean, you know, we're not really able to train how we are accustomed of training in preparation for these sorts of games. I mean, again, no excuses, but it's part of it, and being able to prepare is a big part of my ethos and a big reason as to why the team has been so successful. We don't just come and play games. We always prepare. We always do what we need to do, train 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week based on the opponent. And we just weren't able to do that this time around. And because of that, I mean, you know, it showed in our game. But again, lessons to take. You don't really take any lessons from winning. You take lessons from losing. And we got to take that lesson from losing. As I told the guys that moving into the Premier, we're not going to be able to dominate teams the way that we normally do. We got to be under pressure. So sometimes our football has to look a little more untidy. You know, when you play the pretty football and it doesn't work, it looks worse than it is. When you play the untidy football, sometimes it works and sometimes you win. So, you know, that's one of the things that we're going to have to be looking at moving forward, tactically and technically.
All right, well, thank you very much, Kareem, and all the best in the new season.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin.
All right, Kareem Regis there of the Do-It Center Mighty Avengers. So that's going to bring us to the end of the Off the Field program. Delvin, I see you up in the stands here. Final words from you as we look to wrap up tonight.
Well, Gavin, I want to say, well, hats off to the Buffett State team and so on for putting the victory there tonight. And also, I want to say a Merry Christmas, Gavin, to the people that usually listen to DBS Radio and everybody else and so on that tune in. I want to say Merry Christmas, Gavin. As you see, that's our last program for 2025, Gavin. It was nice doing the program with you, and we had a very exciting 2025, and hopefully in the new year things can even get better, Gavin. But for sports on the whole, as you said, that we need to see the improvement and so on in the way forward, and we just hope that we can just continue improving in terms of sports. I want to say a special good evening to my wife, Gavin. I know she always around and always following me and taking me off and on, Gavin. So I want to say a special good evening to her and my daughter at home and the rest of my family, Gavin. So and not forgetting Curtis, Gavin, and his wife. And so I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody at DBS and hope we can continue doing what we're doing.
All right, Delvin, I must say it was a pleasure working with you for the year. And of course, we're looking forward to having you on again with us next year. So, ladies and gentlemen, like Delvin said, this is going to be the final edition of Off the Field for the year. We're looking forward to seeing you next year, God willing. Of course, on behalf of the entire sports department at DBS Radio, the technical crew, Kyle and Joseph Fadul, also Dean, we'd like to say thank you for joining us tonight. Merry Christmas, like Delvin said. And we're wishing everyone a prosperous new year. We're heading back over to Master Control now as we will join Mervyn D with the Soul Express program.